This is the Self-Aware Leader Podcast. Now your host, Jason Rigby.
Becoming a reflective leader, not like a reflector that's on a bicycle. You know, those little reflectors, that's the first thing I thought of when I was going through this, like reflecting, but I was thinking of a reflector, on the back of the bicycle. I'm so old, because I'm 49, that back in the day, we had bikes and then we would put like these little plastic reflectors on them, on our metal. We had these metal back, like we'd have these BMX tires and then, we'd put these like metal mud flaps on them so we wouldn't spin mud up all over our shirts when we were little because, we didn't have phones back in the day. So guess what we had to do? We had to play outside all day long until it got dark. Sometimes we'd play out even in the dark. And we survived. Parents didn't know where the hell we were at. No phone, no nothing. Isn't it funny? And I'm not going to get into a whole lesson on parenting, but I want to get into becoming a reflective leader. Stop reacting and start thinking. As a human, as a leader, as a parent, as a partner, as a spouse, whatever role that you are in your life, as an employee, as an employer, it's essential to recognize the difference between being reactive and reflective. So what is reactive? This is typical ego. This is us typically being who we are. Reactive is a fear-based state of operation. It's a state of operation. It's what the ego has used to protect you for years and years and decades, depending how old you are, 2 decades if you're 20, 5 decades if you're 50, whatever. This is built over time, a system, a fear-based state of operation, the system, that's all it is. It's not real. It's a system that's been created that's fake to be reactive. What is it fueled by? How does the fear-based state of operation, how does it get fueled? Panic. Stress. Oh my God, I can't believe it. This is horrific. And then anxiety. We all know, like, I can't handle it anymore. I'm too anxious. I don't want to, it's like, we can fit, and these are fueled by panic, stress, and anxiety. And these happen to me. And I don't know how this happened. In the Marine Corps, I wasn't that afraid of heights, but the older I've gotten, the more unstable I feel when I get around heights. And so I've become panic, stress, and anxiety when I get around like hiking and it's the corner of a mountain or something. And I look down and I feel panic, stress, and anxiety. And it's just my mind reacting to a lack of trust in myself, in my body, in me being firm and not getting vertigo and I have a lack of trust that I will be sure-footed and stay on the trail and not fall inches away from, sure death. That's the fear-based state of operation. It's fueled by panic, stress, and anxiety, and it shows a lack of trust in yourself. And if you're a leader in your leadership, in the business you built, whatever it may be. So being reflective provides the necessary space to think. We need that space. We got to create space around emotion, like a little layer. So, like think of like think of like the International Space Station, and then all around us is just stars and planets and this black space, just infinite void space, no emotion to it, no nothing, just space. Think of that. We need to create that space. My reactive self is the International Space Station, just floating around, just reacting to everything, fear-based state of operation. And I'm just reactive. I have a lack of trust. But I'm going to pull myself back. I'm observing the space station, and I'm looking at that. I'm putting space between that and the reaction, between that and the emotion. That will allow me, creating that necessary space will allow me to think, assess my options, and find solutions. So let's get into this. When faced with the problem, we all know we can fall into the reactive state, and it's so hard to take that step back to physically, and I tell people, Jocko Willink talks about this, physically take a step back and assess the situation. Physically, walk steps back. Physically, get out of the room before you react and go for a walk. Remove yourself from the reactivity so that you can reflect. Step back, calm down. You know how many times I've taken a 5-10 minute walk before I had a conversation with somebody because I was so jazzed up and so angry? And then assess the situation. Take the time to assess the situation. You're like, well, I have a hard time doing that. It's because you don't trust yourself. And this is where self-trust comes in. You need to trust in the business you built, the amount of hours that you've worked to accomplish who you are, and you need to hold steady, and you need to support yourself, and now it's time to provide for you in this situation. So take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen in this situation? Assess the situation. What is the worst thing that could happen? I'll write it down. I have my self-aware pad right here. I take a piece of paper out. Okay, here's the situation. What's the worst thing that can happen? I'm assessing the situation. And then what is within my power to control? What can if I'm in traffic and it's going to be 2-hour delay, I have no power over that. So me being reactive to traffic is nothing. The only thing I can do is I need to put a podcast on and learn while I'm sitting in the car going 5 to 10 miles an hour. I have no control over traffic. It is not within my power. Now, if I have an employee that just went off on another employee and was yelling and screaming at him, and that's my employee, I am the leader, I have 100% control to handle that situation. It is 100% within my power. So I will handle it swiftly and quickly and make sure I talk to both of them separate. And then I talk to them if it's fueled down and it's not that big of a thing where I need to let one of them go. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Then I get both of them together and we resolve it. So I'm going to take control of what is within my power. And then I'm going to allow myself some space to detach from the issue. Like I said, I'm the observer. I'm observing what's going on. I've pulled myself back, gave myself enough space. I'm in the black space, outer space, and I'm looking at the situation. It's a small little space station. Another one is called fear setting. It's like goal setting, but fear setting. And this is a powerful exercise. It can help you conquer your fears. If you can define your fears, if you're self-aware enough, you can be like, oh, I don't want to talk to this person because they may yell at me. Or I don't want to have this conversation because I'm going to feel extremely uncomfortable. But it all boils down to fear. So you need to define your fears and then assess them on a scale of 1 to 10. So, okay, I need to talk to this person. They're probably going to get a little upset at me. On a 1 to 10, it's probably going to be like a 5. Okay, well, how badly is it going to affect my life? Ask that question. Scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 5. How badly? It's going to be uncomfortable. I'll probably, think about it for like a day and go to bed thinking about it. But I could probably wake up the next morning and feel pretty good and know that I sought clarity and I had a good conversation and I let this other person. So probably it may affect my life for like 18, 20 hours, maybe 12 hours. Okay. How do you feel about that now? Oh, yeah, I could probably have that conversation. Just suck for 12 hours. Okay. Yeah, that's easy. This exercise, fear setting, guys, this exercise can help you realize that some of your fears may not be as significant as you think. And you can then work to address them in a more reflective and proactive manner. Reactive, proactive. Ego is reactive, higher self, self-aware is proactive. As a leader, it's essential to operate from a reflective state by taking the time to assess and reflect on a situation. You allow yourself to find the best solution possible. A lot of times that's when it happens, is when you walk away, create space, let the emotion die down, and then ask yourself, ask your higher self. I say this all the time. Hey, higher self, need your help here. I need some wisdom. What's the best solution for this? And then I take breaths, I calm down, I relax, try to get to neutral, and just relax and breathe. And then I start thinking of answers. Because it is so easy to fall into a reactive state. It is so easy to not want to recognize when you're in that state and just run with it and just have the drama and just go crazy. But I'm telling you, take the necessary steps to detach, assess the situation. Remember, guys, I'm going to close in this. Trust in yourself, in the business you have built. and always aim to operate from a reflective state.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Aware Leader Podcast with host Jason Rigby. We hope this episode has inspired you to unleash your full potential and embrace your inner leadership. By expanding your consciousness, you can transform your mind, body, and soul and become the remarkable leader you were always meant to be. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with your loved ones and help us expand our community. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to having you join us again on the Self-Aware Leader Podcast.